Hi, I'm Jeffrey Sham with the Google Developer Relations team. In this video, I'll show you how to get started with the DoubleClick for Publishers API PHP client library, from downloading the code to running examples, and also tips like where to change the login configuration and where to find the log files. For new users, I'd recommend taking a look at the Getting Started guide. Here, you will find resources for account signup, setup information for different programming languages, as well as other developer resources. From here, we will navigate to client libraries and start from the Quick Start guide provided for PHP. One of the first things you need to do is make sure your system meets the requirements to use the client library. For PHP, we need version 5.2 with native SOAP client, and the SOAP client, OpenSSL, and curl extensions. So, let's go ahead and download the client library from CodeSite. This is the project homepage for the client library, and it contains up-to-date information on version releases. You can go to the Wiki tab for additional information, Issues tab for bug tracking, and Source tab for instructions on how to check out the code through a version control system or just to view the code online. Now, let's go to Downloads and get the most recent version of the client library. The most current library will have the featured library label. So we click on the file link, wait for the download to finish, click on the download so it unpacks, and we're almost ready to run some code. For setup, we go to our client library directory, and then go to Source, Google, API, Ads, DFP, auth.ini, and we open that up to put in our information. To use client login, all we have to do is fill in the email and password. It's good practice to have an application name, and the network code has to be filled in if the user is associated with more than one network. With the file saved, our setup is now complete. Let's take a look at the examples, which are organized by version and then by service. Looking at Creative Service, you can see that there are 7 examples that we can run. Let's take a closer look at the Get Creatives by Statement example. You can open the PHP file with an editor of your preference, but I'd like to show you how to view this file online through the Client Library project site. So we go to Source, Browse, Examples, choose our version, our service, and finally pick our example. You will notice that many of the examples, like this one, will have a pattern of creating a DFP user, using it to create a service, and then using a service to make an API call. In this case, we create a DFP user with no arguments, so we just post the credentials from the auth.ini that we configured earlier. We use the filter statement with bind variables to specify that we only want up to 500 image creatives. We call Get Creatives by Statements on the service with the statement object, and we display the results one line per creative to the command line. Now let's run this example and see what we get. To do this, we just have to type php get creatives by statement example.php and hit enter. And there we go. We've successfully retrieved some image creatives. You can find out more information about the request from the logs in the logs directory. The request ID here is really useful for troubleshooting if you've ever run into problems and you'd like to post a question on the forum for us. You can also configure the level of logging that you want. By default, the library captures each request in the request info XML. Let's change our logging to capture the SOAP request and SOAP response log as well. Going back to the command line, we can run the example again. Great, the request is finished, and looking at the log directory again, we see now that there is a SOAP XML log file. Looking at the log file, you can see the tail end of the XML response for the Get Creatives by Statement call we made just now. So, what does it look like if we run into an error? Let's try it out by changing our filter field to an incorrect value. Running the example again, this is what we'll see in the request info log. We see that the last call has failed from the isFault equals 1, and the error details tells us that there was a problem with our filter statement. And that's all there is to getting started with the PHP client library. We have a number of resources available to help you, including these documentations, FAQs, blogs, forums, and developer hangouts. I hope you enjoyed the screencast and would love to discuss more through any of these channels. Just let us know.